welcome to our chief guests, directors, parents, staff, and my dear students. Good to see you all here for today's annual day program, Born to Fly. Now it's time to invite our guests onto the dais. Let me welcome Mr. S.K. Gupta, the founder chairman of Bachpan and Academic Heights Public School, onto the dais. A big round of applause, please, and I request Mr. John Paul to accompany Mr. S.K. Gupta. He is the chairman of Bachpan and Academic Heights Public School, Delhi. I call our students to welcome Mr. S.K. Gupta, the chairman of Bachpan and Academic Heights Public School, with a bouquet. A big round of applause, please. Now I would like to invite Mr. N.K. Jain, the Director of Finance of Bachpan and Academic Heights Public School, onto the dais. I request Mr. John Paul to accompany Mr. N.K. Jain. He is the Director of Finance of Bachpan and Academic Heights Public School, Delhi. Welcome, sir. I call our students to welcome Mr. N.K. Jain with a bouquet. A big round of applause, please. Now I would like to invite Mr. K. Srikanth Reddy, the Regional Director, Operations, Bachpan and Academic Heights Public Schools for Andhra Pradesh and Telangana State, onto the dais. I request Mr. John Paul to accompany Mr. K. Srikanth Reddy, our Regional Director, Operations of Telangana and Bachpan, onto the dais. Welcome, sir. I call our students to welcome Mr. K. Srikanth Reddy, he is the Regional Director, Operations of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Now I would like to invite Mrs. K. Rupa Reddy, Regional Director, Academics, Bachpan and Academic Heights Public Schools for Andhra Pradesh and Telangana states, onto the dais. I request Mr. John Paul to accompany Mrs. K. Rupa Reddy. She is the Regional Director, Academics for Bachpan and Academic Heights Public Schools for Telangana and Andhra Pradesh state, onto the dais. I call our students to welcome Mrs. K. Rupa Reddy. Now I would like to invite Mr. Murlidhar Reddy. He is the Director of S.R. Nagar Bachpan Play School and Academic Heights Public School, onto the dais. I request Mr. John Paul to accompany Mr. Murlidhar Reddy. He is the Director of S.R. Nagar Bachpan School and Academic Heights Public Schools. Welcome, sir. I call our students to welcome Mr. Murlidhar Reddy, the Director of S.R. Nagar School. Now I would like to invite Mrs. Mrudula and Mr. Rajendra Prasad, the Directors of Madhura Nagar Bachpan Play School, onto the dais. I request Mr. John Paul to accompany Mrs. Mrudula and Mr. Rajendra Prasad onto the dais. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, sir. I call our students to welcome Mrs. Mrudula and Mr. Rajendra Prasad. Thank you, sir. Before we start the program, I would like to call Mrs. Indulata, the Director of S.R. Nagar Bachpan Play School and Academic Heights Public School, onto the dais. I request Mr. John Paul to accompany Mrs. Indulata Reddy. Welcome you, ma'am. I call our students to welcome Mrs. Indulata Reddy, the Director of S.R. Nagar Bachpan and Academic Heights Public School. Now, let's move to the next part of the program. Before we start the program, let's take the blessings of Almighty. I request our chief guest and the dignitaries on the dais to light the lamp.
శుభం కరోతి కళ్యాణం ఆరోగ్యం ధన సంపద శత్రుబుద్ధి వినాశాయ దీపం జ్యోతి నమోస్తుతే దీపం జ్యోతి పరబ్రహ్మ దీపం జ్యోతి జనార్దన దీపో హరేతు మే పాపం సంధ్యాదీపం నమోస్తుతే.
Thank you, students, for the Deepa Sloka, and I thank our guests and all for lighting of the lamp. Now, it's time to felicitate our school heads. I request our chief guest and the directors on the stage to felicitate our school heads. Let me call Mrs. Neeraj Kakar, the principal of Academic Heights Public School, SR Nagar, onto the dais. Mrs. Neeraj Kakar, she is the principal of SR Nagar Academic Heights Public School. Now I would like to invite Ms. Padma and Mrs. Divya for Bachpan, a play school, SR Nagar, onto the dais. Now I would like to call Mrs. Nalini from Madhura Nagar, Bachpana Play School, onto the dais. And I request our dignitaries to felicitate her with a memento. Thank you, sir. I request Mr. S.K. Gupta, founder chairman of Bachpan and Academic Heights Public School, to honor Spurti Challa, who has won 25,000 cash award in the International Sport Olympiad organized in partnership with Star Sports. I call Spurti Challa onto the stage.
Can I have a round of applause for her? Come on. Second international silver prize in international level. Thank you.
Congratulations, Spurti Challa. Keep it up. Now I request our regional director, Mr. K. Srikant Reddy, and Mrs. K. Rupa Reddy and the other directors to honor our chief guest, Mr. S.K. Gupta and Mr. N.K. Jain. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I request all the dignitaries, the chief guests, to be seated in the audience and then enjoy the program. We thank Mr. S.K. Gupta and Mr. N.K. Jain for coming all the way from Delhi to witness us hidden talents of our children. A big round of applause, please, for them. A song by students.
God is a circle whose circumference is nowhere, and his center is everywhere. Wherever we are, whatever we do, he is ever and ever the same merciful one. Nothing can be achieved without his blessings. Now I request one and all to stand up in silence for the word of prayer. This is my prayer to thee, my Lord. Give me the strength lightly to bear my joys and sorrows. Give me the strength to make my love fruitful in service. Give me the strength never to disown the poor or bend my knees before insolent might. Give me the strength to raise my mind high above daily trifles. Give me the strength to surrender thy will with love.
Now I request one and all to be seated. Hope the Almighty has showered his divine blessings upon each one of us.
Thank you, students. Now I would like to call Mr. John Paul to brief up about Brand Bachpan and Academic Heights Public Schools.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The majestic S.K. Gupta, sir, chairman, founder of Bachpan and AHPS, Mighty N.K. Jain Sir, Director Finance, SK Educations, Dynamic K. Srikanth Reddy, Regional Director Operations, Glorious Rupa Reddy Ma'am, Regional Director Academics, decorous directors, dedicated teachers, trustworthy parents, and my dear lovely children. Bachpan is a play school. Bachpan, a play school, is a flagship brand of SK Education Private Limited, catering to the educational upbringing and needs of children between the age group of 2 to 5.5 years. At national level, Bachpan and Academic Heights Public School are Delhi-based ISO-certified educational institutions spearheaded by Mr. S.K. Gupta and Mr. Ajay Gupta heading the operations. At regional level, it is headed by Mr. K. Srikanth Reddy as Regional Director Operations and Mrs. K. Rupa Reddy as Regional Director Academics for Telangana State. Bachpan, a play school, was launched in 2003 with a standard of international level of play school, where the way of imparting education is a fine blend of modern methods and Indian values. Bachpan is a complete play school in every sense. As on date, Bachpan has a network of more than 1100 schools all over the nation, with the largest network in Telangana and AP. Within the short span of time, the Bachpan schools have got an overwhelming response from all over the nation. AHPS believes in imparting quality education to all the sections of society with CBSE curriculum. There is a great saying, real education fetches you more than a job, it teaches you to live. It cannot be measured in any tangible way. Keeping this noble mission in mind and to pave way for excellence in formal school education, SK Educations has launched its brand AHPS, Academic Heights Public Schools across the nation. AHPS is just not one school, it's a chain of schools across the nation. We are more than 120 schools nationwide. There are 25 AHPS schools all over Telangana. I want to remind you that our goal is to establish an enthusiasm for learning and thirst for knowledge in these young minds that will serve as foundation for future success. Bachpan recognizes the fact, and accordingly we have different concept rooms, books and the curriculum. When one looks back at the past year, there is a satisfying feeling to see clear evidence of stability and sustainability, both in academics and administration, be it the school curriculum, extracurricular programs, event hosting, and many more. Excellent performance of the students in the past have made us truly proud. The year 2016 and 17 was marked with many events and success stories. This can be attributed to the dedication and team spirit of the members of management, staff, parents, and students. The year started off with a bang, a spectrum of training programs and orientation for staff, followed by introductory sessions right from the start of academic year. Workshop for faculty members on pedagogies for excellence of academics in CCE was organized by eminent resource persons from Delhi. In-house training for teachers called EduTrain has been conducted in the month of September 2016. We have inter-school AHPS mega event. For this year, 20 states have participated, and the total participants are 1,500 children from 20 states of all the AHPS schools. And from our region, from our zone, 800 children have participated, and this time the Champions Trophy was bagged by Telangana zone. Innovations made in Bachpan and AHPS. Bachpan and AHPS always stand first in bringing innovations in schooling. Speak Open, Price Smart, and we are coming up with Bachpan tablet and AHPS tablet for the next coming year. We are also coming up with AR, augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality. I proudly announce that Bachpan and AHPS will be the first school nationwide to bring virtual reality into schooling. We have language labs, and we are also coming up with sports school called Khel Drive for the coming year, and we are also coming up with music school for the next year. In order to connect children from playgroup to post-graduation, we have Bachpan for pre-primary